Hey, what's up, Visionaries? Welcome back to the ArcVision Fan Jam. My name is Anton. Hopefully all of you guys are having a fantastic day because it is our pop and soul R&B day and stuff like that. Alternative too. And today's song request comes from Merrick. You rock, Merrick. And this is Pink, Glitter in the Air. So I loved Pink's voice in Anywhere Away from Here, and yeah, I feel like it's I don't know, I've got a lot of people who have mentioned her on the channel, so I feel like I wanted to give her another shot. So Merritt came through, also Paul Little did as well, and yeah, we're doing this one. So anyway, before we get into this, I do want to say you guys rock. Thank you for all love and all the support. Also, if you guys are resonating with the channel, definitely smash the like button on this video, help me out with the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe if you do so choose, if you are liking the content. Also, if you guys want to support the channel at the same time, request songs like Merrick and Paul did for this one, and albums for us to react to, definitely join everyone in the Patreon family and leave your requests there. And as always, shout out to my patrons. Thank you guys so much for keeping this dream, this vision alive and growing. I say thank you. My future family says thank you. And as always, keep the song requests coming. Lastly, if you want to check out my podcast, get your hands on official merchandise, links to those two things down below. Also, if you want to hang out with myself and the entire ArcVision community, we're on Discord nowadays, so find us there. And that's it. So without further ado, let's get into Pink, Glitter in the Air. I love ballads.
Have you ever been a lover with just your hands?
Oddly enough, in a little bit of a way, if I close my eyes, because I don't know Pink that well, in some ways her vocal style reminds me a bit of Kelly Clarkson. Oh, just thought you guys might completely disagree, and that's cool too, but I don't know. Right there, Kelly was sprung to my mind. And that's a great thing, because Kelly is the best. So anyway, let's get back to this.
With just your hands, close your eyes and trust it, just trust it. Have you ever thrown a fistful of glitter in the air? Have you ever looked fear in the face and said, I just don't care? It's only half past, point of no return. The tip of the iceberg, sun before the burn, the thunder before the lightning, and the breath before the phrase. Have you ever felt this way?
Very theatrical.
Have you ever hated yourself for staring at the phone? Your whole life waiting on a ring to prove you're not alone. Have you ever been touched so gently you had to cry? Have you ever invited a stranger to come inside? It's only half past, point of oblivion, hourglass on the table, the walk before the run, the breath before the kiss, and the fear before the phrase. Have you ever felt this way? that rotate. Have you ever held your breath and asked yourself, would it ever get better than tonight? Tonight.
Wow, that was an incredible performance. That actually reminded me a lot of when I saw Cirque du Soleil in Toronto. I went with my mom, and because she gets free tickets from work, and yeah, it was incredible. Like this reminds me a lot of Cirque du Soleil. It's just like the grace, just incredible music and incredible. Like it just makes you think of like life sometimes. Like you're just like, wow, like there's so much untapped potential that we rarely see in like our 9 to 5 jobs and like kind of what we experience in life. And there's this whole other world of art. There's this whole other world of mastery that you rarely experience. You know, and Pink is clearly a performer. She has that understanding of you know, even in a way, shock and awe. Like not in a disgusting way, but just in a like she knows how to get your attention. She knows what's like interesting visually, and like and like just even like going into the water and then having the water, like just interesting touches like that in the video and the performance is just really interesting. And also just like what the song represented to me was just like the duality of life in a sense. Like how one part is said, do you ever like hate yourself for staring at the phone waiting for him to call? And then do you ever something like it's so beautiful in a moment that, you know, you'd cry in intimacy and love or whatever, and then do you ever wish for an endless night? And it just kind of, you know, when she made the first comment about do you ever hate yourself for looking at the phone? Like a big part of my life right now, and as you guys can probably tell, I've been talking a lot about self-acceptance lately. It's for some reason come up. I just kind of got out of a little kind of little mini relationship. Nothing too serious, but yeah, it was just kind of like it taught me a lot about myself. And you know, she was a really incredible, you know, partner for the time we had together. And I think most of all, she kind of helped me accept my shadows, my kind of the darker parts of myself that I had been running from for a long time and not accepting, and more like kind of like animalistic nature part of myself that, like, you know, I thought I was above, and that you know, I'd been like kind of quarantining outside of myself for my entire life. You know, I grew up with a mom. You know, I was a mama's boy. And so I was very, you know, sensual, very tender. Like I'm usually the lover in relationships is very sensual and tender. And then so she was on the other side, she was very like almost more aggressive in some sense. She was almost in a sense, like I was like the dominant masculine energy. But in terms of like chaos and order, like I was very, like she was chaos, I was order in a sense. She was the energy, she brought the energy, and then I brought the form, the order that she would kind of send her energy into. And yeah, it was just like, you know, and then yeah, because you know, I took a long, after that relationship I told you guys about, like I took a long time just like kind of celibate. I took like many years of my life just being celibate and not thinking about sex or relationships, because I was just kind of really focusing on myself and who I was, because, you know, I was so used to having my energy and myself be kind of merged with another human being that I needed to get really in touch with myself. And so when she kind of came into my life, it was at the perfect time where I was kind of able to kind of start to open that door And yeah, she was, she was incredible for the time being. And we kind of evolved past it because it was just kind of it was a fling. It was just kind of like fun. I didn't, I didn't want something too heavy yet because there's still a lot of things that I felt like I need to work on. And then yeah, she was cool with that. And then she realized that she was getting kind of too attached. And then we kind of, mutually kind of split it apart. But the reason why I bring this up is I'm like, there's these kind of parts of us, I feel, like the looking at the phone, waiting for it to ring. Like, you hate yourself because you're giving in to these like simple desires. But there's what makes us human. It's like, we get attached to people, we get attached to things. And sometimes like you need to like be okay with that. Yeah, you will probably after you break up with someone, stare at just look at the phone. And or even when you're kind of meeting somebody and getting to know them, you will look at the phone and wish they're calling. That's just part of it, right? That is the nature of life. That's the base nature of life. And that's okay. I think the biggest thing with Pink is like, I'm like, what I want to tell her is like, that she probably already knows, is just like, yeah, forgive yourself for those things, right? Like, accept those things. And that's okay. And then like, also the other reason why I brought that up, because I was talking about getting in touch with my shadow and, having a partner, like her that was really accepting. Like she's the most accepting person I've ever met in my life, probably. Because she just fully accepted herself, and then she was able to fully accept me, kind of, and yeah, like, the darker aspects of myself that I've been hiding from everybody for pretty much my entire life. And there is something, and the reason why I brought that up was that other comment was, do you ever kind of just like cry or like, open up in love? And I didn't cry or open up in love, but I know the release it feels like to just be accepted by, a partner, right? And having, me accept her and her accept me. Like, she told me that, it was very therapeutic for her too, because of just how non-judgmental I was. Like, everybody has, kinks and fetishes and stuff. And so, she would tell me some of hers, and I'm like, that's cool. Is it my thing? Some of those, aren't, maybe some of them are, but I'm not going to judge you for it, because the fact is, like, as soon as you start judging people for like that kind of shit, it's like everybody has their version. You know what I mean? Like, quite frankly, I'm pretty tame. Like, she was more the crazy one, but it's like everybody has something. Everybody has something. The moment you start judging people based on this or that, it's like you better look in the mirror, because I'm sure you have something something that you're not accepting. If you're gonna judge somebody for something that's very sensitive to them, you're probably judging yourself very harshly on something that's sensitive to you too. It's kind of like equilibrium. We're always trying to find equilibrium in our lives, right? We're always trying to, balance things out and right wrongs. And a lot of the time, the more judgmental you are with yourself, the more judgmental you are with other people. And obviously, these last kind of couple of years, I've been learning to just not be judgmental of myself. I think that's why, she told me, she's like, I feel very safe around you. Just because, I just don't feel judged. And I was like, yeah, I don't really judge anyone. I don't really, it's none of my business. It's like, if you have wants or needs, or if you feel, guilty of things or shameful of things, that's cool. Everybody does. Everybody has something, right? And, I can see the good in you. I know that you're an incredible, person. You're, beautiful inside and out, and, that's it, And then if it's too much for me, if some things are too much, too kinky, too whatever, it's like, that's up to me. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna shame you for it. I'll just be like, hey, this is not my idea of intimacy. This is not something that I want right now in my life. And that doesn't make it wrong. It's just we're not compatible in that way. And we just realized that we're incompatible in some ways, right? And That's it. I feel like that's healthy. Walking away, and like even like when you walk away from that person, walking away in love, like walking away, like I still like she wasn't good with goodbyes, so she like we kind of broke up, and she's like she kind of told me this really beautiful message, and she's like I don't want you to kind of like reply in a sense. She's like I'm not good with goodbyes, and I said honestly, I think a proper goodbye is warranted here because you're very special. You've helped me out a lot in my life, and I think you deserve a proper goodbye. And so I just wrote her kind of a letter, and that was kind of the end of it. And I just said all the the great things I thought she was, the things I valued most in her, and the things that I wish she would value in herself. Things that I wish we all would value in ourselves, right? And yeah, that's it. So it's just some people like I said, like it wasn't like too intimate of a thing. It was supposed to be just for fun, and then it ended up getting more emotional, and then that's why we just realized it was kind of going into two separate directions. We'd have to make a choice very soon of like, do we want to make this something like very real and commit to this like long term, or walk away while we wouldn't be hurt so much. And for her, she's noticing she was getting very attached, and so yeah, I said all for it. Like, you need to take care of yourself, and I know that like I'm feeling this too. I am noticing some more feelings than I wanted to in the first place, because this was just kind of like my way of kind of getting back into partnership. This was my way of kind of dipping my feet and exploring some of myself before I really take the deep dive. And it is what it is. I used to be like, it's funny how these things change. Like, I used to be very judgmental on people that would do what like we were just doing. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? It has to be all or nothing. It has to be like a full relationship. You need to commit to each other for life, or or what are you doing? And I just kind of realized like things aren't cut and dry that way. It's like there's some experiences, like, to say no to them, you have to try them. That's very much kind of where I am in life. It's like, if I'm really going to say no to something, I have to experience it first. I have to experience what makes me uncomfortable to then be able to choose strongly what is comfortable. Like, I've been living my life very safe for a long time, and I wanted to try something that would challenge me. I wanted to try something like, I wanted to have fun for the first time in like 5 years, because I had closed myself off to any sort of fun for 5 years. I was so rigid, so stoic, so disciplined. I didn't party, I didn't drink, I didn't do anything like that. And I just got to the point where I was like, I feel numb. I feel just like I could tell I was holding myself back from experiencing life, and just, that part of life, that is very much a part of life. And I feel like, to like, I even, God, this is getting personal. I don't know why this is getting so personal, but I feel like I have to dive into this. And some of you I know will value what I'm saying, because you're probably going through the exact same thing right now. And those that aren't have already turned this video off. So those of you who are still here are you're right along with me. But one thing I realized was like kind of this idea of like a partner I had in my mind. I wasn't able to get to that partner from going from where I was to that partner. Like, there was an intermediary step I needed, because, for example, I was the very romantic one, the very sensual one, the very like feeling one, right? I was not as spontaneous. I was not as fiery and as intense, right? I could at times go into that, but that was, again, not my main inclination. I was almost afraid of that part of myself. I was almost afraid of the animal nature. I was almost afraid of that part that would just fucking let loose and just go crazy. And then like at the same time, I wanted a partner that was more sensual, kind of, that would be like that too. And I realized, okay, until I can own my animal side, my fire, my power, my aggression, I'll never find a partner that I'm looking for. Because until I can find balance with myself until I can be the sensual and the fire, until I can be the water and the fire. Like, if I'm all water, I'm gonna attract fire, just like I did with this partner. She was all fire, right? And so it was like, it was balanced. Like, it worked, right? She was my opposite. I played it safe. I was, you know, the sensual romantic one. She was way more kinky than me, and like way more kind of, you know, embodied in a sense, right? She was more in the moment, spontaneous, in a funny way sometimes. But yeah, and it's like, when I realized, like, I need to find that in myself, because once I find that in myself and I can play both sides, I'll find a partner who can play both sides too. Because once we can both play both sides, I can add that romantic tinge to the energy. And then she can add a bit of energy to her sensuality, and it still fits. It's still the jigsaw puzzle that works perfectly, but we're both fully embodied in the masculine and the feminine, that we can come together and create this thing together, right? Rather than me completely be disembodied of my fire and then being too water, and then me at the same time not wanting someone who is all fire. Because that, in some sense, that, you know, that kind of, if all you want to do is fire, that's a bit too much for me. And that's one thing about, you know, this partner that was just too much at times. Like, sometimes I wanted to slow it down, and she's like, I want it faster. You know what I mean? Like, it was just this kind of, it was like water and oil. We were never quite, frankly, on the same kind of thing. But at the same time, I realized how important that was for me to have. Like, I needed to get more in touch, and she brought that fire out of me. She gave me the area for me to embody that and come into that. And once I embodied that, once I grabbed that and had that and accepted that about myself, then it allowed her to go more into the kind of the sensual romantic, and then me to take that role, and then even merge, like I said, the sensual and the romantic. Like, I want to be both, because I don't think it's healthy just being one. Because I think you leave a lot of the romantic experience out if you only. Plus, it becomes boring and static if there's no dynamic. If you can't ebb and flow within different energies and stuff, if you can't bring different kind of dynamics to the relationship, it will end up being boring. Because, yeah, again, like I said, if she always wants something different than me, because both of us are incompatible with ourselves, that we can't both take in like each other's energy, it's just not working. So it's like, and then I guess, you know, now, like, she wasn't ready, I think, to slow down. And I think that's kind of what kind of pushed us away in a sense too, is that she wasn't able to slow down, but I was coming into both. I was accepting I was able to be both. And then now it's like, whoever ends up in my life next will be someone who has both, who can be whatever the moment requires us to be. And yeah, that kind of just pretty much came out of that line of just like, you know, do you ever wish a moment lasted forever? And do you ever like kind of I think the line was like cry or something, or have an emotional experience in love. And yeah, and that's why I brought it up too, is like, she made me the most kind of emotional and embodied I've ever been, because like every partner before her, I was too much in my head. I was too much outside of the moment. I was not present. And I never had a powerful kind of intimate experience. It was always, yeah, just, it wasn't present. It wasn't full connection. And even obviously in this one, it wasn't full connection all the time either. But I know that now I know what it's like. I kind of have a feeling in my head of what full connection actually looks and feels like, because I've found it myself. And then, you know, you always attract into your life partners who are like yourself. And yeah, that's all I'll say about that. But anyway, part of me is a bit uncomfortable actually going so deep with you guys. Like, it's funny, there's some things that make me uncomfortable, and there's some things that don't. Like, I can be very vulnerable in some respect, and it's not uncomfortable, and there's other respects that make me feel very uncomfortable. And it's like sharing stuff like this that's like very kind of close to home. Anything that I'm sharing that like I'm kind of dealing with right now is uncomfortable, because I haven't got enough separation between the old me and the present me to be able to just talk about it like it's done and emotionless. Like, this still is a bit raw for me. And so, you know, part of me wants to like fucking delete this video and just be like, yeah, I'm not gonna put this out. But yeah, I think if I'm afraid to do something and experience something, I feel like I need to put it out. I feel like that's my way of challenging myself, and that's, I always say, like, I need to challenge myself. So if I'm kind of uncomfortable about this, it means that this is very important, and I know that if this is uncomfortable for me, it's uncomfortable for some of you who are going through it too. And if you guys are open to a shift in your life, hopefully this kind of instigates something. Hopefully this makes you aware of a dynamic in your relationship, or maybe you're single and you're kind of maybe even celibate too, kind of waiting for the right one or something, you know. And just know that it might not take the path you were expecting. Because I thought I was going to be going from celibate to the partner that I'm going to be with for the rest of my life and the mother of my children, but you know, sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you need a stepping stone to teach you something to bring into the next phase of your life. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the song. What do you think of Glitter in the Air? What are your top 3 favorite Pink songs? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, if you guys are still kicking around here and watching the video, it means that obviously we really resonate, and I love you guys. Whoever is still watching, I love you. You got a friend in me. Is that a Disney movie? Got a friend in me? I think it is. But yeah, you got a friend in me, and I obviously have a friend in you. So I wouldn't even say thank you. It's just, it is what it is. We resonate on certain things, and we're probably going through certain phases of life at the same time. So that's it. And yeah, if you guys are still here, definitely smash the like button, help me out. And if you guys are enjoying the video, and if you're enjoying the content, definitely subscribe, join the family. Also, if you want to, also, what artists do you guys want to see back on the channel next week, like Merrick did and Paul did with Pink, bringing Pink back on? Let me know, bring your suggestions to the Patreon and leave them there. Also, if you want to support the channel at the same time, request songs and albums for us to react to, Patreon. Thank you to my patrons. You guys are the best. You guys know that, though. Also, if you want to get your hands on official merchandise and check out the official merchandise, and check my podcast, links to those down below. Also, if you want to hang out with myself and the entire Arc Vision community, we're on Discord nowadays. And that's it. So I'll see all of you guys again tomorrow. I love you. Peace.